What is up, everyone? It's Thomas with Real Broker right here in St. Augustine, Florida. And today I have an interesting show for you like we do every Wednesday at 8 p.m. We're going to cover the market stats. We're going to cover the local news that you need to know about if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing here in our area, or if you're just living here. Honestly, it's good stuff to know as well. And then at the end, I try to wait till the end to do a Q&A session. So if you do have any questions, if you're watching the replay and you have questions about living here in the area, buying, selling, or investing, leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So to start it off, like we always do, we're going to take a look at the market stats. So let me just pull this up here real quick and go from there. 1 second here. Okay, share my screen. All right, so let's take a look at the market stats over here. We'll maximize the screen here so you guys get a better look. But over the past 24 hours, new listings 213, closed listings 112. So almost half of the new listings coming onto the market as we have closed homes here. Now compare that to pending and contingent taking backup. It's almost a 1-for-1 within the past 24 hours. And then let's see here. We have 213 new listings and then 203 price changes. So almost a 1-for-1 in the 24-hour mark. Let's look at the past week. New listings 1,084, closed 650. So 6 out of 10 listings selling. And then pending, actually more pending than coming onto the market, which is something that we've been hearing nationally as well, is that the homes aren't coming back on the market like people like normally they do at this time of year. Inventory is still low nationally, not just here in our area. So look, new listings versus price change, almost a 1-for-1 as well in terms of new listings and price changes. So being competitive with that market, they got to stay on top of it. It's what you have to do. Let's take a look here. And this is something that I stray away from sometimes, but I always like to go on the total active listings. Now we're at 5,953. That's actually down from, I think, maybe 2 weeks ago. That was like 7,000. So that's a pretty shocking number to look at there, because as we're going into these spring months, we should be seeing more inventory coming onto the market. Typically when you hit November, December, January, that's kind of a slower time in the real estate world. And then really from spring through the end of summer, that's kind of like the hot season. So we're getting closer to spring. Maybe we will see more listings. Hopefully this number goes back up, because as that number goes up, guys, that means that there's more inventory, there's more options available for you. And that also means more competition. So there's going to be better options for you compared to this time last year. There was 2,500 homes on the market this time last year, probably. So you have a lot more options, but with more homes coming onto the market, that makes sellers a lot more negotiable. We saw the price changes and the new listings almost going 1-for-1 there. So if you're looking to buy in this market, it's great because you have options and it's 100% still a seller's market, guys. But because of everything going on in the world, inflation, war with Ukraine, whatever's going on with the Federal Reserve every other month, people that are looking to sell their home are worried, right? They don't know what's going on. Everyone's worried, and you see all the news stories about mortgage interest rates and how it's going to be a 2008 crash. So people are trying to get out and run, right? And sellers at this time are kind of feeling that emotions, right? The stats tell us we're in a seller's market, but I've been negotiating with buyers. Pretty much every buyer I've been working with right now, we're asking for full closing costs, essentially covered by the seller, if not more than that. So my sister just closed on her house. She bought it for $450 and she asked for $18,000 in closing costs. So that's a good bit of money that you get to keep in your pocket opposed to come out of your pocket. So guys, looks like we have 6 people here. So if you have any questions, if you're watching the replay, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. Here every Wednesday at 8 p.m. trying to do this stuff for you guys. I appreciate you guys being here. You guys are superstars. So let's go into our next news story, which I think is something that I've talked about a little bit, and this is a little bit of a conspiracy theory of mine. But this is, ignore that it says Biden's one size fits all plan to protect renters comes at just ignore Biden. So one size fits all plan to protect renters comes at the expense of mom and pop landlords. What do you still want to, what to do if you still want to slice the real estate pie? So I'll leave this article on here, but essentially what it's saying is that the federal government is looking to do some type of rent control nationally or something of that in that realm. And what you need to know is that over 20 million of the 50 million rental units in the United States are owned by mom and pop landlords. Now, the past 2 years, there's been essentially an eviction moratorium. So the mom and pop landlords couldn't evict people if they weren't paying rent, and that had largely to do with the pandemic. Was there some relief for those people? I'm sure you could, but if you're just a mom and pop, you probably were just running it under your own name or something like that. The relief wasn't as good as maybe it would have been for like an LLC or something. So they really got their asses handed to them these past couple of years because renters didn't have to pay rent, right? And then at the same time, they're not collecting any rent. They can't kick anyone out. So they're having to come out of pocket to pay for these things. So what I think is happening is I think that the middle class, which we all know is being squeezed to death, right? I think it's being squeezed to death. And I think they want to get all of the mom and pop investors out of the game so that they can really corporatize it and can take control of it that way. Because mom and pop, if you actually know the mom and pop that owns the building, they're a lot more negotiable. They understand you. They get to know you as a person. It's a little different than when you're just renting from a corporation. So I think this is going to be another thing. I'm not saying it's related to a Democratic or Republican or independent president. I think this is just what's happening, right? That the middle class is getting squeezed. Homeownership is becoming less and less affordable. They want people to rent and not own homes. Why is that? I have no idea, guys. But that's just one of my wild conspiracy theories. Buy property. It's not going anywhere. Not making any more land. Let's hop on to the next news stories. This is really important for all Floridians. So if you're living here in Florida, this is going to be an important thing for you to know. It just came out yesterday, I think. DeSantis announced a tax relief bill. So Florida governor announces a record $2 billion tax relief proposal. Under the plan, essentially, baby toddler items, cribs, strollers would be tax-free permanently. So he goes on to outline it's a big program, obviously $2 billion, but under these past couple of years, we do have a surplus of money for the state of Florida. So maybe we can afford to make some cuts. So you can see the outline here, and they kind of did it sloppily. I think they should have just put all the permanent exemptions in one spot and all the other exemptions in another spot, but what do I know? But there's some notable things here, right? Permanent exemption for baby toddler necessities, including clothing, shoes, wipes, and diapers. So big help to parents. 1-year exemptions for children's book, permanent exemptions for crib and strollers, 1-year exemption for children's toys, 2 to 12 years old, permanent exemption on gas stoves. And there's a lot of sales of electric stoves here, but gas stoves are making their entrance into the market here. Really not that many gas communities. Permanent exemption for over-the-counter medications for your pets, and permanent increased savings for electronic filings for small business. So in total, there's other things that last a year. There's other things that are a couple more months, and that they're doing the back to school sales holiday. That's 4 weeks instead of 2 weeks, so that you don't get taxed on the back to school stuff. So I don't know, sales tax 7%. So if you're saving 7% on every purchase that you make, and buying a lot of diapers, buying a lot of school books, stuff like that, gas stoves, it's definitely going to help. What do you guys think about that? I think it's just kind of like political maneuvering, because in reality, like 7% on all those items, it will add up, but it's almost like it's for the few, right? It's not for everyone. So, but I think it's a good thing. What do you guys think? I'd like to know. Let me know in the comments below. Let's go on to the next one here. And this one is just a reminder of the history here regarding Black History Month in St. Johns County. St. Augustine, the first city in the United States. More than likely they had slaves, right? And that's just part of being in the South here. And some people still don't believe that the market here was used to sell slaves. Yes, they sold other things in this market, but they did sell slaves in this market, and it's known as the old slave market. So this article here is just kind of going over that, people don't even believe that that's actually the case and what people should do. It's even stated in this article that back in like 1964, the KKK, or probably past the 1964 too, the KKK would have rallies right there at the slave market to intimidate blacks in the area. Obviously, that's not good at all. But it's something very interesting that, that's part of the town here, right? It's a town from 1565. There are definitely some human rights atrocities happening. Talk about Black Americans. You could also talk about the Native Americans that were here, who are no longer here anymore. Not a whole bunch of Native Americans around here, not Native American settlements, but just want to bring that up here. We'll go on to the next news story here. Let me boom, share my screen. Now, this is a bigger one, actually. I'm going to just take a second here. Now, this is a bigger news story. It's actually part of two news stories that I think you guys should know about. Flagler Health Plus is the main hospital here in the 32080, 32086, 32084 area. So essentially surrounding downtown St. Augustine, historic St. Augustine Beach. Flagler Health Plus is your go-to just because of the location. Now, they've had some problems these past couple of years, with inflation, having to pay higher wages, all those things, and really adapting to, I guess, a new healthcare market, which all these hospitals have kind of had to go through these past couple of years. So let me share the screen here. They're talking about a merger with UF Health. And what they did is they ended up putting up a proposal. Saying, hey, wrong article. So Flagler Health Plus says evolving industry headwinds led to planned merger with UF Health. So back in, I think, August of last year, they decided, hey, we want to kind of put it out there and say, we're looking to partner with a local hospital and kind of join forces. And the reason they did it is because they need, honestly, the money from a capital perspective, as well as growing development of facilities and support for our team and the communities we serve. So they've just had problems, and I think merging with UF, which is obviously a big hospital here, that's probably going to be the best way to go for them. They looked at a whole bunch of different options of what they could do, different hospitals, and they said that they were brought a whole bunch of different options, but they decided that just with UF's history here in the area, they wanted to go with them. So that tags along into this next story, which has to do with Jacksonville. Now, Jacksonville and UF already has a campus in Jacksonville, in downtown Jacksonville. New $100 million UF satellite campus could be coming to Jacksonville that focuses on AI and medical technology. So this just came out yesterday. They had a conversation with UF and said, hey, why not put this down here? Jacksonville is starting to become an emerging workplace for fintech and for medical technology. So that whole area, that industry is starting to buzz here, and they're looking to capitalize on that, looking to add some kids and some colleges into that too, so that they can further the research. Also, the workforce available here, right? If you have fintech startups coming up everywhere, you also have all these hospitals popping up. They need people to work for them, right? So if they have this program right here in Jacksonville that can kind of, hey, you need to work over here, you need to work over here, and they have good educated people from the local area, that's a win for the city. So they're talking about putting that satellite campus in downtown St. Augustine, or downtown Jacksonville. But they're also talking about that it could be in the corridor of 295, and that we should know where this place is going by the end of summer. We don't know officially where it's going to be, but we should find out by the end of summer. So guys, if you have any questions about that, leave me a comment below. Leave me in the comments below. Wow, what am I talking about? All right. So I only got, let's see, one more news story here, and one that we've talked about. First Coast nonprofit leader, you can't do affordable housing by yourself. So you guys know I talk about affordable housing a good bit and how that is a problem. Bill Lazar, who is head of the St. John's Housing Partnership, he works with the community. It's a not-for-profit corporation, and he's just trying to help people out. He helped out, and I see a lot of volunteer opportunities, and I've been meaning to take him up on it. But 200 homes just last year that he's helped out with, and he's speaking out about creating a local housing authority due to the rising costs and lack of affordable housing, for those who are not above average wage earners. To me, I don't understand this. The measure failed by 3-2. Like, it almost leaves me speechless, because it's like, guys, this is a problem here. Like, why are we not addressing this? Housing is important, right? We all know, we all got a roof over our heads, right? Housing is important, and we're not addressing it, right? St. Johns County is one of the fastest growing counties in the entire state, but also the entire country, right? This growth is happening, whether we like it or not. What are we doing to move forward and make sure that the people that live here can still afford to live here? Doesn't seem like there seems to be much interest from local government. I know they put forward a couple of different things, but it just doesn't seem like they're doing enough. It's a double-edged sword with that too, because local government, they work for the locals, right? And then how many locals you have complaining every single day about overdevelopment here in St. Johns County, and then at the same breath, like saying, oh, we need affordable housing. Well, it's like, well, what do you want? You don't want it to be developed, but you need affordable housing. We got to figure out a middle ground here. And then when affordable housing gets pitched, it was pitched in St. Augustine Beach, right off of 312. When it got pitched, the people that were there, the locals were like, yeah, no, we don't want an apartment building like right here. It's going to lower our property value. I got to look at it. And to me, that's like the most absurd thing in the world. It's like, hey, I want affordable housing, but just not right here, not in my backyard, right? We can have affordable housing in that other section of town where I don't live. And to me, it's just like, I get so frustrated with it, because, it's not like I want to live in like a lower affordable housing place. Like, I want to, live in a mansion on the beach, right? Just like everyone else, or have a house in the intercoastal, whatever that is. Obviously, those things cost more money, right? So you gotta make the money in order to buy one of those things. Now, why would people be opposed to it being in their backyard? There's a number of reasons, right? Most of it's going to be coming down to property value, also traffic. I just don't see how adding multifamily property in St. Augustine Beach is going to add any, especially off 312, any worse traffic or any more traffic. You're not adding all that much. St. Augustine Beach, for the most part, is developed. But that's just one instance of people who are like, yeah, we need affordable housing, but at the same time, don't vote in the interests of affordable housing. And affordable housing now, is it even affordable? I mean, affordable housing here in St. Johns County is a $300,000 home. Most people in St. Johns County, the workforce that's here that really hasn't, let's say it's the people that have lived here for the majority of their lives, 5 to 10 years at least, before a whole bunch of people started flooding into our market, before remote work started happening. These people worked in the hospitality industry more than likely. At most, maybe. I know one of my buddies is making $1,000 a week as a bartender, which is great money back in 2019. And in today's world, $1,000 a week is very, very tough to get by on. Minimum wage jobs here, I mean, I see jobs starting at $15 an hour. Do the math on that. I mean, I think it's like $2,400 a month or something like that. Let's see. Just do the math real quick. 15 times 40, 600 times 4. $2,400 a month, right? So if you're working a 40-hour week, an hour, you can literally afford to live here. Like, there's your monthly rent at the cheapest might be $1,600 a month, right? Okay, so then let's just assume you have no other expenses. That's what we have to do here. So I don't know what the answer is, guys. I'm hoping there's going to be some benefit, some major benefactors be like, hey, take all this land and use it for affordable housing. See if it happens. We'll see if it happens. But guys, appreciate you being here tonight. We'll be here every Wednesday at 8 p.m. until I die. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Until this isn't popular anymore, no one likes it. But hope you gained a little bit of value out of this. I'll be here every Wednesday at 8 p.m. going over the local market stats, the local news you need to know about, if you think about buying, selling, or investing, and also doing a Q&A at the end, which today we didn't have any. It's totally fine. We'll catch you next time. We got one comment. Let's see. Oh, man, look at these guys. Lola, John. This is 2 people. But awesome, guys. I'll see you guys next week. Lola and John, I'll see you guys pretty soon, coming down here this month. So I'll talk to you soon. See you next week, guys. Have a great night.